remembered there was this experience shared by my student. She was playing a horn in the camp, and she was very impressed with the players that played together with her. So much so that when she went back to the band, she managed to play a sound that was very different from the rest of the people. The orchestral sound concept of horn really inspired her to play very differently, and it also inspired the rest of her friends to actually play a different way.
I have quite a few students who have already been part of a camp. Some of them were like my ex-band students who camp was the first time they actually got to play in an orchestra. So that was a very big learning step. And there are more people in the band also. So when we get to win playing in the orchestra, usually you're holding a solo line. So while not all of them end up being professional musicians, the other thing that really helped was to actually inspire them to love music even more, because this is music that they never had a chance to perform or be part of in an orchestra. So giving them that opportunity to actually play together was very significant. But most of them are, I think they're still very active, even though they're not actually choosing music as a career.
One of the strong values we uphold is in giving back to the community. And this is possible by sharing music with the young musicians through the orchestra camp. Students get a chance to experience playing in an orchestra, and many of them for the first time. In this camp, young musicians will also get a platform to practice leadership skills and organizational abilities in a safe place. Some may even go on to contribute likewise to the community.
Campers will then sometimes go on to organizing the camp in subsequent years and also serving in the team. So right now, I think you all can't see, but behind the camera, there are two former campers who are running the show. I think the orchestra camp has really become a community. It's not just a place where a lot of young musicians get their first chance of playing together with an orchestra, but really it's the forming of friendships that have lasted almost a decade now for some of the very first campers.
After I participated in my first camp, both my teacher, Dr. Yo, as well as my peers at my school string ensemble remarked that my playing had gotten better. Like I was listening more, I was more aware of what was going on around me rather than just having tunnel vision on my own part. There's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes than just the 1.5 weeks where camp takes place. There's so much work to do, even months before camp starts. So I guess being in this camp committee, being mentored by several old members who were overseeing the camp, gave me a very safe and comfortable place to develop my leadership skills, but without fear of being scolded for mistakes I made, or without fear that any mistake I made would cause the entire event to spiral out of control, for example.
Originally, back then, the camp committee on both the OMM and SOTA side were formed by a group of students at like the tail end of their secondary school or JC periods. And where I came in was the first year when we decided to kind of expand it to include the winds and brass and percussion, essentially the other sections, right, to form a actual orchestral camp. So back then in SOTA, I was in my 5th year. So initially, I think when they offered it, I was part of the camp committee mainly to try and fulfill my CAS requirements so that I could graduate, right? And it wasn't really an event where I was thinking like, hey, this could potentially have like lasting effects. It is only like much later when you look back years after and consider it that you realize like the impact of the things that you've done. An interesting event in that it brings about people from different music backgrounds, different educational backgrounds, to come and participate in an event where you get to meet other people that are like you, and yet be able to perform and pull off works that generally you wouldn't be able to access as a student at that age. Because majority of the things that you play would either be in established student orchestras, like the SNYO, or by professional orchestras. So It's definitely a unique opportunity in that you get to experience a part of music that wouldn't normally be accessible to you.
Of course, I would recommend camp to my students because I think that's very important, especially for those who are already playing at a pretty high level. I think that's another chance for them to experience something that's quite different. So, especially thinking about my band students, I think being able to take that next step to explore this is something where they can see whether it's something that they love. And anyway, more like different ensembles that they play in, it's always good to open, the horizons and to see more things outside.
It's always seeing people who come through the camp system and who are passionate about orchestra music, not just playing music, but also about who are passionate about making the music happen, who are almost activists for music, who are passionate about taking up leadership and volunteer roles within OM and even in other organizations in the community. And I think that's what we need today in Singapore. We need advocates for the arts, advocates for orchestra music, and we wanted to create this platform for students now, to have that experience, not just playing in an orchestra for the first time, but also forming these friendships, these bonds, and I think that's very meaningful. And I'm so happy and proud that I've had the opportunity to do this for others. And I hope this goes on for many years to come.
Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have enjoyed taking a look into the lives of our music makers. I hope it has given you inspiration even during these tough times. We hope to see you again at our concerts. In the meantime, we hope to engage you and share our music with you through our digital platforms. Do let us know what you think of this series, and thank you for watching.